Did you know that by 2030, millions of Americans will be packing their bags and heading to just 10 states? These aren't just random choices. Each one offers a unique blend of booming economies, affordable living, and lifestyle perks that are impossible to ignore. From tax-friendly policies to remote work havens, these states are rewriting the rules of where people want to live. Stick around to find out which places are topping the list and why they're becoming the new American dream. Texas, the unstoppable growth machine. Texas isn't just growing, it's exploding. Last year alone, nearly 500,000 people moved here, making it the fastest growing state in the country. But what's pulling them in? If you think it's just oil fields and cowboy culture, you're missing the bigger picture. The state's economy has transformed into something far more diverse. Sure, energy still plays a role, but now tech companies in Austin compete with Silicon Valley. Healthcare systems in Houston rival major coastal hubs, and advanced manufacturing plants sprawl across Dallas-Fort Worth. Tesla didn't build its Cybertruck factory here by accident. They came for the skilled workforce, business-friendly policies, and room to expand. Financially, Texas stands out for what it doesn't have: a state income tax. That means paychecks stretch further, whether you're a nurse in San Antonio or a programmer in Austin. Property taxes aren't the lowest, but when you combine housing prices with no income tax, the math works for most families. A 3-bedroom home in Austin still costs half what it would in San Francisco. Cities here offer more than just jobs. Austin's live music scene and green spaces make it feel like a quirky college town that never stopped growing. Dallas melds Fortune 500 headquarters with thriving arts districts. Even smaller cities like Round Rock and Plano have become hubs for remote workers who want suburban comfort without sacrificing urban amenities. Space matters too. Unlike cramped coastal cities, Texas has room to spread out. You can actually afford a backyard here. That appeals to remote workers fleeing tiny apartments, families wanting more square footage, and entrepreneurs who need affordable commercial space. The state's road networks and airport connections make it easy to travel or ship goods without dealing with coastal congestion. This growth isn't slowing down. New residents keep arriving faster than infrastructure can sometimes handle, which creates its own challenges. But the underlying reasons, jobs, affordability, and opportunity, show no signs of fading. Texas isn't just attracting people, it's proving you don't need coasts or cramped cities to build a life. Now let's head southeast to a state where retirees aren't the only ones soaking up the sun. Florida, the retirement revolution. Florida's reputation as a retirement paradise still holds true, but something new is happening. Last year, over 400,000 people moved here, and not all of them were retirees. The state's appeal has expanded beyond golf courses and early bird specials. Now, remote workers and young professionals are finding just as many reasons to stay. What's drawing them? Start with the financial benefits. Florida has no state income tax, which means paychecks go further. A software developer earning $100,000 in New York or California might take home an extra $5,000 to $10,000 annually just by moving here. Housing costs vary, but even in popular areas like Tampa or Orlando, you can still find 3-bedroom homes under $400,000, a fraction of what you'd pay in major northeastern cities. The cities themselves offer surprising diversity. Miami has morphed into a bilingual business hub, where finance and tech meet beach culture. Tampa's Riverwalk and Downtown Revival attract younger crowds who want urban amenities without crushing rent. Jacksonville combines sprawling suburbs with a growing arts scene. Even smaller coastal towns like Sarasota balance relaxed, living with enough co-working spaces to support digital nomads. Weather plays a role, but not just for snowbirds. Year-round warmth means no winter heating bills and outdoor activities every month. Cyclists ride the Pinellas Trail in January, kayakers paddle Miami's mangroves in December, and kids play outside without seasonal interruptions. For remote workers, that consistency matters. No snow days shutting down productivity. Florida's infrastructure is adapting to this influx. Airports in Fort Lauderdale and Orlando offer direct flights to almost anywhere. making business travel easy. High-speed internet now reaches most coastal areas, a must for remote workers. And while hurricanes remain a risk, improved building codes and warning systems have reduced the disruption they cause. The state isn't perfect. Rapid growth strains roads and schools in some areas. Summer humidity tests newcomers. But for those who stay, the trade-offs often make sense. Where else can you video call from a home office in the morning and paddleboard during lunch? This isn't just about escaping winter anymore. Florida has become a practical choice for anyone who wants financial breathing room paired with an active lifestyle. The retirees aren't leaving, but they're getting new neighbors. Next up, a state proving you don't need Silicon Valley's prices to work in tech. North Carolina, the Southern Tech Hub. North Carolina might not be the first place you think of for tech jobs, but that's changing fast. The research triangle between Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill has become a quiet rival to coastal tech hubs, minus the crushing costs. At 2.6%, the state's job growth outpaces the national average of 1.5%, with tech leading the charge. Companies like Apple and Google have expanded here recently, drawn by skilled graduates from Duke, UNC, and NC State. The difference? A software engineer in Raleigh earns a competitive salary but pays half the rent of someone in San Francisco. Charlotte anchors the state's other economic engine, finance. Bank of America and Wells Fargo employ thousands here, offering New York-level careers without Manhattan's prices. A financial analyst in Charlotte might make $85,000 while paying $1,800 for a downtown apartment, a combination that doesn't exist in most major metros. The city's light rail system connects suburbs to offices, and its international airport makes business travel simple. What seals the deal for many newcomers is balance. North Carolina has 4 distinct seasons without extreme winters or oppressive summer humidity. The Blue Ridge Mountains sit 3 hours west of Raleigh, offering hiking and waterfalls. Wilmington's beaches are a 2-hour drive from the Triangle for weekend trips. Even within cities, greenways wind through neighborhoods, making cycling and jogging part of daily life. Housing costs vary, but stay reasonable. A 2,000-square-foot home in Durham averages $350,000, less than a cramped condo in Boston or D.C. Suburbs like Cary and Morrisville attract families with top schools and community pools. Downtown Raleigh's warehouse district has converted old industrial spaces into lofts and breweries, drawing young professionals. Taxes help too. The state's overall burden ranks in the bottom half nationally. Growth brings challenges. Traffic has increased around Raleigh, and some school districts face overcrowding. But infrastructure keeps up better than in faster-growing states. The Research Triangle's 30-year head start means it expanded thoughtfully, with preserved green spaces between city nodes. By 2030, North Carolina could become the nation's 7th most populous state, adding over 1 million new residents. They're coming for jobs that don't demand coastal sacrifices, and finding a quality of life that's hard to match elsewhere. The secret's out. You don't need an ocean view to build a career or raise a family well. Meanwhile, another southern state is proving cities can grow without losing their character. Georgia, Atlanta's meteoric rise. Atlanta isn't just Georgia's largest city anymore. It's becoming the capital of the New South. More than 100,000 people moved to the metro area last year, drawn by jobs, culture, and a cost of living that undercuts coastal hubs. But this isn't the Atlanta of Coca-Cola nostalgia or Gone with the Wind tours. The city has evolved into something far more dynamic. The film industry alone proves how much has changed. Georgia's tax incentives have turned Atlanta into Yollywood, with Pinewood Studios hosting Marvel blockbusters and Tyler Perry's Empire producing shows year-round. A local crew member can earn union wages while paying $1,500 for a 1-bedroom apartment near filming locations, something impossible in Los Angeles. The industry employs over 100,000 Georgians now, from set builders to visual effects artists. Hartsfield-Jackson Airport gives Atlanta another edge. As the world's busiest airport, it offers direct flights to every major U.S. city and global hubs like London and Seoul. Yet unlike crowded coastal metros, Atlanta's suburban neighborhoods remain affordable. A marketing manager can live in Decatur, reach the airport in 20 minutes, and still have a backyard. The city's sprawl has downsides, but the MARTA rail system connects key job centers. Unlike most southern cities, culture surprises newcomers. The Beltline Trail transforms old railways into 22 miles of parks and public art. Ponce City Market blends a historic Sears building with food halls and offices. Even the music scene goes beyond hip-hop. Indie bands thrive in venues like Terminal West. History stays present too, from Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthplace to the Civil Rights Museum. Jobs extend far beyond filming. Fortune 500 companies like Home Depot and UPS base operations here. Georgia Tech feeds talent into the tech sector, where startups cluster in Midtown. Manufacturing thrives too. Kia's West Point plant builds 340,000 vehicles annually. Salaries run about 15% lower than in New York or San Francisco. But Georgia's lower taxes and housing costs balance that. A family earning $100,000 here lives like one making $150,000 in coastal cities. Housing remains a key draw. A 3-bedroom home in desirable neighborhoods like Virginia Highland averages $550,000, half the price of comparable Boston or DC areas. Suburbs like Alpharetta offer top schools with yards still under $400,000. The challenge? Traffic as growth outpaces road expansions. But the city's tree canopy, mild winters, and lack of crushing density make the trade-offs work for many. Georgia shows how a city can grow without losing its soul. It's not trying to be New York or LA. It's offering big city opportunities with southern livability, and people are noticing. Out west, another state proves you don't need coastal proximity to attract newcomers. Arizona, sun, savings, and silicon. Arizona's population boom used to mean one thing: retirees escaping cold winters. But something shifted when Californians realized they could trade $3,000 studio apartments for Phoenix homes with pools and still keep their coastal salaries. U-Haul data shows California as the top source of new residents in the Phoenix metro area. And it's not just about cheaper housing. Phoenix's tech scene explains part of the appeal. Companies like Intel and GoDaddy have major operations here, while remote workers, priced out of San Francisco, find they can afford actual houses near downtown. A software engineer earning $150,000 in California might pay $1.8 million for a modest Bay Area home. That same salary buys a 3,000 square foot property with mountain views in Scottsdale. The city's light rail connects tech hubs in Tempe to downtown co-working spaces, and Sky Harbor Airport offers direct flights to Silicon Valley for occasional office visits. Tucson offers a different vibe. The University of Arizona anchors this desert city, giving it a college town energy with lower costs than Flagstaff. Professions like healthcare and optics thrive here, and the Sonoran Desert provides hiking trails minutes from downtown. A 2-bedroom Adobe-style home near the university runs about $300,000, less than half the price of similar properties in San Diego. Monsoon rains bring dramatic summer storms, but winters stay mild enough for year-round patio dinners. Outdoor access sets Arizona apart. The state has 6 national parks and monuments within a 3-hour drive of Phoenix. Sedona's Red Rocks attract weekend hikers, while Lake Pleasant offers boating 45 minutes from downtown. Even in summer, early morning hikes beat coastal humidity. Dry heat feels different when you're not stuck in traffic. Snowbirds still come, but now they share trails with remote workers, taking midday breaks to summit Camelback Mountain. Growth brings challenges. Phoenix's urban sprawl means some commutes stretch past an hour, and water management remains a long-term concern. But infrastructure adapts. The Valley Metro expands light rail service, and new solar farms offset energy demands. Tucson preserves its character with height restrictions that keep skies wide open. Arizona proves affordability and lifestyle can coexist. It's not just a retirement alternative anymore. It's where coastal careers meet desert living without the financial strain. The snowbirds aren't leaving, but they've got company now. Another southern state mixes historic charm with modern growth, proving tradition and progress aren't mutually exclusive. South Carolina, Southern Comfort 2.0. Charleston proves you can preserve history while embracing change. The city's pastel-colored row houses and cobblestone streets still draw tourists, but the real story is what's happening behind those historic facades. The local culinary scene now rivals larger cities, with chefs transforming low-country ingredients into modern dishes. Restaurants like Feig and Husk regularly make national best-of lists, while food festivals like Charleston Wine Plus Food attract visitors year-round. A server at one of these hotspots can afford an apartment downtown, something nearly impossible in New York or San Francisco. Upstate tells a different story. Greenville's former textile mills now house tech startups and advanced manufacturers. BMW's Spartanburg plant produces over 1,500 vehicles daily, employing 11,000 workers. The city's downtown rebirth includes Falls Park along the Reedy River, where converted warehouses mix offices with breweries. A factory worker here earns $25 an hour at Michelin or GE, while paying $1,200 for a one-bedroom apartment near Main Street's shops. Unlike purely tourist-driven economies, these jobs create stability for residents. Geography gives South Carolina an unusual advantage. Myrtle Beach's 60 miles of coastline sit 3 hours from Greenville's Appalachian foothills. A family can surf in the morning and hike Table Rock State Park by afternoon. This variety attracts both retirees and young professionals, the former for warm winters, the latter for affordable adventure. Even Columbia, the state capital, balances government jobs with a growing tech sector anchored by the University of South Carolina. Housing remains a major draw. Charleston's average home price sits around $400,000, high for South Carolina, but half the cost of comparable coastal cities elsewhere. Towns like Mount Pleasant offer good schools and marsh views for under $350,000. Rural areas provide even lower costs, with farmland converting to suburbs as remote workers seek space. The state's property taxes rank among the nation's lowest, adding to the financial appeal. Challenges exist. Charleston's popularity strains its historic infrastructure, and coastal flooding requires careful planning. But the state invests in solutions like the Charleston Peninsula Study, which addresses traffic and rising sea levels. Greenville expands its trolley system to manage growth, proving small cities can adapt. South Carolina shows tradition and progress aren't mutually exclusive. It keeps its charm while adding jobs that span tourism, manufacturing, and tech. The result? A state attracting everyone from chefs to engineers, all finding their version of Southern comfort. Next up, a state where low taxes meet high culture, and the paychecks stay whole. Tennessee. No taxes, no problem. Imagine keeping every dollar of your paycheck instead of watching chunks disappear to state taxes. That's Tennessee's financial reality. No state income tax means a $75,000 salary here spends like $85,000 in neighboring states. Last year alone, Tennessee saw a 35% net gain in people moving in, with many citing taxes as the deciding factor. But there's more to this equation than just take-home pay. Nashville's growth reveals the full picture. While country music still defines its culture, healthcare now drives the economy. The city houses over 500 healthcare companies, including Hospital Corporation of America, HCA, the nation's largest hospital operator. A nurse here earns $70,000 while paying $1,600 for a downtown apartment, a combination that doesn't exist in Chicago or Boston. The automotive sector thrives too, with Nissan's North American headquarters in Franklin and a sprawling Volkswagen plant in Chattanooga employing 4,000 workers. These industries create stable, high-paying jobs that don't require coastal living costs. Memphis offers a different appeal. The birthplace of blues and barbecue maintains its gritty charm while providing rare affordability. A 3-bedroom home in artsy neighborhoods like Cooper Young averages $250,000, less than tiny condos in most major cities. FedEx's global hub ensures steady logistics jobs, and St. Jude Children's Research Hospital anchors the medical sector. The city's revitalized riverfront now mixes museums with breweries, proving low costs don't mean sacrificing culture. Outdoor access surprises newcomers. Great Smoky Mountains National Park, America's most visited park, sits just east of Knoxville, offering free entry to over 800 miles of trails. Chattanooga's riverfront features climbing walls and swim beaches minutes from downtown. Even Nashville's Percy Warner Park provides 3,100 acres of forests within city limits. These amenities attract remote workers who want nature breaks without lengthy drives. Growth does present challenges. Nashville's traffic rivals, Atlanta's at rush hour, and home prices in hot neighborhoods like East Nashville jumped 60% in 5 years. But compared to coastal alternatives, compromises feel manageable. A family relocating from Los Angeles might trade a $1 million bungalow for a $500,000 craftsman home with a porch and still net $10,000 annually from tax savings. Tennessee proves financial pragmatism can coexist with rich culture and outdoor access. From honky-tonks to hospital corridors, factory floors to mountain trails, the state offers pathways to prosperity that don't demand coastal sacrifices. The secret's out. Keeping more of your money doesn't mean giving up quality of life. Another inland state combines affordability with surprising cultural offerings. Oklahoma, the Middle America magnet. Oklahoma might surprise you. The state that once symbolized the Dust Bowl now draws coastal refugees with something simple: affordability that actually leads to opportunity. A full 30% of homebuyers moving here come from California, Texas, and Florida, lured by median home prices under $200,000, about one-third the national average. But this isn't just about cheap real estate anymore. Tulsa's transformation shows how the state's cultural scene outpaces expectations. The Gathering Place, a $465 million riverfront park, mixes art installations with kayak launches and skate parks. Woody Guthrie Center celebrates folk music history, while the Tulsa Arts District hosts First Friday gallery walks in repurposed warehouses. A graphic designer moving from Portland might pay $800 for a downtown loft near these amenities, something unthinkable on the West Coast. The city's remote worker program even offers $10,000 grants to out-of-state professionals who relocate. Oklahoma City delivers urban convenience without urban stress. The 70-acre Scissortail Park anchors a downtown where streetcars connect breweries to the Thunder NBA games. Bricktown's canal-side restaurants feel unexpectedly cosmopolitan, yet neighborhoods like the Paseo Arts District retain indie boutiques and $1,500 two-bedroom bungalows. The city's public school system invests heavily in STEM programs, appealing to young families. Even the airport sits just 15 minutes from downtown. No 2-hour security waits like in coastal hubs. Economically, Oklahoma moved beyond oil derricks. Tinker Air Force Base employs 26,000 in aerospace engineering jobs, while the Oklahoma City Innovation District incubates biotech startups. Tulsa's tech scene grew 20% last year, with firms like Thinkful Coding Bootcamp setting up satellite offices. Traditional energy jobs still exist, but now they're at Devon Energy's glass skyscraper headquarters, not rural rigs. A petroleum engineer here earns $120,000 while paying 36 cents per square foot for office space, versus Houston's $1.25. Living costs make the math work. Oklahoma's overall tax burden ranks 7th lowest nationally. Groceries and utilities cost 15% below average, and even urban apartments often include parking at no extra charge. The weather shocks newcomers, tornado warnings are real. But modern housing codes mean storm shelters come standard in many builds. This isn't the Oklahoma of Grapes of Wrath lore. It's a state where artists, engineers, and remote workers find they can actually save money while enjoying museums, parks, and short commutes. The stereotypes never mention that part. One state proves you don't need red politics to attract new residents while keeping mountains in your backyard. Colorado. Where peaks meet paychecks. Colorado breaks the mold as the only traditionally blue state attracting massive migration from across the political spectrum. The reason? Practical benefits that transcend party lines. Denver's tech scene employs over 100,000 workers at companies like Google, Amazon Web Services, and homegrown startups. A software engineer here earns $120,000 on average, comparable to Silicon Valley, but spends $2,300 on a downtown apartment instead of $4,500. The metro area added 35,000 tech jobs in 3 years, with corporate campuses choosing locations near light rail stations for easy commutes. The outdoors serve as Colorado's second economy. 1 in 3 residents participates in snow sports, creating a $5 billion industry that supports everything from ski resort jobs to gear shops. Hiking trails like those in Rocky Mountain National Park see over 4 million visitors annually. This accessibility matters. Denver workers can leave their office at 5 p.m. and be climbing at Red Rocks Amphitheater by 5:30. The state designed its infrastructure around this lifestyle, with bike lanes stretching from Boulder to Colorado Springs, and most trails remaining free to access. Legal cannabis reshaped local economies beyond predictable stoner stereotypes. The industry employs 38,000 Coloradans in roles ranging from lab testing to retail. Dispensaries outnumber Starbucks locations in Denver, generating over $2 billion in annual sales. Tourists spend on bud and breakfast packages, while entrepreneurs launch cannabis-adjacent businesses like CBD skincare lines. The tax revenue funds schools and infrastructure, creating an unlikely cycle where Vice pays for community improvements. Housing markets reflect Colorado's careful growth balance. While Denver prices rose sharply, suburbs like Lakewood and Aurora offer 3-bedroom homes under $500,000, still below coastal equivalents. Mountain towns present trade-offs. A $1 million ski condo in Aspen versus a $350,000 cabin in Salida with equal access to slopes. Remote workers gravitate toward places like Fort Collins, where Colorado State University provides cultural amenities alongside 300 annual days of sunshine. The state confronts growth challenges head-on. Drought conditions prompt strict water conservation measures, while overcrowded trails require reservation systems. But investments in renewable energy and public transit aim to preserve what makes Colorado desirable. The formula works because it's not political. Whether you vote red or blue, earning 6 figures while hiking 14,000-foot peaks on weekends holds universal appeal. Our final stop proves you don't need coastal proximity when you've got space, potatoes, and a tech scene quietly outpacing expectations. Idaho, the quiet boom. Idaho used to be known for potatoes and not much else, but that's changed fast. The state now draws Californians and other transplants, looking for more space and less chaos. Boise's population grew nearly 20% in 5 years, making it one of America's fastest-growing cities. But it's not just rural escapees fueling this boom. Tech workers and entrepreneurs are finding opportunities here too. A new nickname tells part of the story: Silicon Prairie. Micron Technology employs over 6,000 workers in Boise, and companies like Clearwater Analytics and Count have headquarters downtown. The tech scene stays modest compared to Seattle or San Francisco, but that's the point. A software engineer at a Boise startup earns $95,000 on average, while paying $1,500 for a downtown apartment, unheard of in major tech hubs. Co-working spaces cater to remote workers, keeping coastal salaries while enjoying Idaho's lower costs. The outdoors make the case for staying. Boise's Foothills Trail System starts just blocks from downtown, with over 200 miles of paths winding through sagebrush and ponderosa pines. Drive 3 hours north to Sawtooth National Forest, where alpine lakes sit without the crowds of Colorado or California parks. Even in winter, Bogus Basin Ski Area sits just 16 miles from city limits, offering $75 lift tickets versus $200 at Tahoe resorts. Housing remains a major draw, though prices rose recently. A 2,000 square foot home in Meridian, a Boise suburb, averages $450,000, half the cost of comparable homes in Portland or Denver. Rural areas like McCall or Coeur d'Alene offer lakefront cabins for what a studio apartment costs in Los Angeles. Idaho's overall tax burden ranks in the bottom third nationally, with no taxes on Social Security income, a perk for retirees joining the migration. Growth brings challenges. Traffic increased on Boise's main arteries, and some schools face overcrowding. Water rights debates intensified as more farms convert to subdivisions. But infrastructure keeps pace better than in faster-growing states. The city expanded its greenbelt along the Boise River, preserving open space even as neighborhoods spread. Idaho proves you don't need glamour to attract newcomers. It offers practical benefits, space to breathe, jobs that pay well relative to costs, and mountains you don't have to fight crowds to enjoy. The secret isn't so secret anymore. People want lives that balance work and play without breaking the bank. So where does this leave the American dream? The American dream isn't disappearing. It's just relocating. These 10 states prove you don't need crowded coasts to build a good life. Texas combines big city jobs with small-town affordability. Florida trades snow for year-round beaches and tax savings. North Carolina's Research Triangle competes with Silicon Valley at half the cost. Even Idaho's quiet boom shows space and opportunity still exist. Each state offers something different, but they all deliver what coastal hubs can't: balance. Better paychecks, lower costs, and room to breathe. 500,000 people last year alone voted with their moving trucks. So where does your version of success live now?